Welcome to SoulFit Podcast with your hosts, Chrissy Moore, founder and life coach of Broken Beautiful Ministries, and Pastor Paul Ibarra from Set Free Life Church, a place where physical health and spiritual healing collide. Stay tuned to get SoulFit.
Are you looking to lower your energy bills and fight the increasing cost of energy? How about increasing the value of your home? Well, then do we have the answer for you? Visit our friends at southernsolartx.com for all of your solar energy needs. These guys are fantastic. Their heart's desire is to see each and every one of their customers turn into long-term champions at paying off their electric bills. For a free consultation, you can reach our friends at 817-751-8911 to set up an appointment, or drop them an email at contact@southernsolartx.com, and all of this information will be in the podcast details below. Now, back to our show. Welcome back, everybody, to SoulFit. This is episode number 9, and I am so excited today, as we always are, because I have my wife Holly back on the show this morning, and she will be giving us our SoulFit Natural Wellness segment. And so the reason why we're doing that today is because we want to really go over again and recap what we were talking about as far as reading labels, and then really dive into the whole topic of the sugar that is the intake of our lives that can actually destroy us as we're living this life, right? And so SoulFit is really based on helping everybody in their physical, their mental, emotional, spiritual, every aspect of life. It's not a fitness podcast. And so we're doing that today to help bring you awareness on how to go about doing this thing, not just, going to the gym, and not just eating carrots and cucumbers throughout the day, but actually understanding and breaking down the whole thing of what health and wellness really is. And so today we do not have Chrissy Moore. So sad about that. She is taking a break this week. So we figured, you know what? Let's do a whole show on Holly's natural wellness segment. So without further ado, here's my wife. She is a natural health consultant. She's pretty much almost done with her certification.
Yes.
And so take it away, Holly.
Hi, everybody. This is Holly Ibarra, joining you again with SoulFit's Natural Wellness segment. Last week, I just want to recap a little bit. Last time I was on, I talked about reading labels. And just to review that a little bit, the label, there's nutritional labels on every packaged food. It's a requirement by the government that anything has a label on it. So I'm trying to get everyone to read and bring awareness to what those labels actually mean. The top section of the label contains the product-specific information, like the serving size, the calories, the nutrient information, and the number of servings per container. I want to key in, and last time we also talked about the serving size. When you pour yourself a bowl of cereal, that's probably 2 or 3 servings. So it's important to understand and to really think about what the serving size is and read that serving size section. One website, I want to bring awareness and just all about educating everybody to really just read and study and understand what you're putting in your body. We only have one, so it's our responsibility to take care of our body. And what you put in it is how happy or well you'll feel and able to live your life, enable you to live a better, more productive and joyful life.
Absolutely. I think that also ties into the whole spiritual aspect.
Absolutely.
Pretty much what we put into our minds and into our spirit as far as reading the word, going and being positive, doing those positive things. For those who are unbelievers that don't really read the Bible, they call it positive vibes.
Right, positive vibes, positive thinking.
Right.
But God's word says that our body is our temple.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I really, really started to key in when I got saved 20 years ago, that we have to take care of the only thing. We only have one, so we have to take care of it.
Right.
A couple websites I looked at to get together my notes this time was fda.gov /food and then nutrition. So, and then another one is what'sinmyfood.com. So just to bring I want you guys to educate yourself. It's really important that you read and understand. So today's focus is on sugar. We talked about the labels last time, and it shows you how much sugar is in each food. There's natural sugar, and then there's added sugar. So the labels represent and reflect both of those types of sugar. Mm-hmm. In my research, I found this out a few months ago or so. I talked to Paul about it. I read that sugar is added to almost all processed food. Everything, and it gives different names. They're very sneaky. They give different names and different types. Anything that ends in ose, O-S-E, fructose, sucralose, glucose, sucrose, dextrose is all types of sugar. And so there's natural sugars, and then there's man-made processed chemical sugars. So types of natural sugar would be raw honey. And for our family, I really key in on local honey because local honey has great properties to combat allergies, and your body processes honey differently than sugar. So around here, around the Ibarra house, we use a lot of local honey. We happen to be very lucky that we have a local honey place very close to us and that we can purchase it there. So if you can look up local honey in your area, that would be a good thing.
I'm sure there's local honey in every
pretty much every community.
Area, whether you're in the city or you're in the country. There's got to be some type of local honey because everybody has bees. Right.
The next best thing to that would be raw honey, and you see that in the Whole Foods or the natural grocery stores. The raw honey.
You know what may help you also if you can't find one that's in your neighborhood, go to at least like a farmer's market or like a flea market. Because we have Trader's Village and they sell it at Trader's Village.
Yeah, they sell local.
So at least it's local enough. You know what I'm saying? Where people do sell their natural stuff. They sell their fruits, their vegetables, and so places like that, maybe even like Sprouts or whatever area is in your area, whatever stores are in your area that are like those local markets. I think you'll be able to find those products there as well. So.
Yeah, some other types of natural sugars are coconut sugar. This is in the grocery store. You can find it almost in every grocery store now. Stevia. Stevia is a plant, and the leaves, when you grind them up, has a very sweet taste. So you'll see stevia drops or stevia packets in the sugar aisle at the grocery store as well.
Awesome.
Agave is another type of syrup that it is a sweetener. Natural maple syrup or raw maple syrup is also good. Or molasses. You'll see that too sometimes. Some fake sugars to avoid. I wrote avoid in big capital letters with an exclamation point. Artificial sweeteners are man-made chemicals. Some examples would be like Splenda, Aspartame, Saccharine. I know when I was a kid, there was a big, huge thing about Saccharine. You probably remember they took it out of the sodas and all that kind of stuff.
The old sodas and Tab and Pepsi Free and all that stuff.
Because it caused cancer.
Right.
Yeah. You know, on that kind of a side note segment on Saccharine, I had an allergic reaction the other day. So I was in the drugstore and I wanted to buy some Benadryl, and I was looking at all the labels. You know, I'm reading the labels,
right.
And I wanted to get children's Benadryl because I don't take any medicine, so my system is pretty much clean.
Right.
And I was reading the labels on the children's Benadryl, and almost every single one of them had Saccharine in it.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just crazy because if they've already proved that it causes cancer, but they're still using it.
In children's medicine.
And it just blows my mind because people are wondering, well, why are we getting sick? Why is there more cancer stories out there? Well, read the label.
It's all of the processed foods and chemicals in our food.
That's crazy.
That's Holly's opinion. I firmly believe that.
Right.
Some other types of things.
But it's truth too.
Yeah.
It's truth. Like, read the labels. Like, it's like reading the Word of God. Like, it's not just man's opinion. You know, as long as you're getting the message that is from the Word, it's not someone's opinion.
Right.
It's in the Word.
Right.
And so it's the same with the labels. It's the same with the sugars. It's the same with the ingredients that are in there. They're putting it in there. So can we really, truly blame the food industry or do we blame the people for not reading the labels?
Yeah, it's
so
true.
It's kind of like a catch-22 because if they're letting you know what's in it and they're saying, listen, this is what we're using
To make this.
to feed you. And you look at it and you go, oh, okay, well, there's all this bad stuff. I'm going to eat it anyway. It all boils down to choices.
Right, absolutely.
It all boils down to choices. You want to stop doing drugs? Stop doing drugs. You want to, stop doing anything or get the help that's going to get you there. So if you're in that place where you're obese and you're in that place where you're in that stuck place of, okay, how do I don't know what all this stuff means. Not everybody Googles like you and I.
Yeah.
Not everybody does research like you and I. I am a self-taught podcaster, basically.
Right.
Anything that I want to learn, I'm on podcast groups on Facebook or Twitter, or I'm Googling and I'm just subscribing to all these different podcast places. And so the truth is that in order for me to bring you this clear audio, I had to do my research.
Right. You had to be curious on how to do the best thing.
Right. Or somebody could have said, here you go. Here's how you do it. And here's what you got. And I would look at all the equipment and say, yeah, but you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go to Guitar Center. I'm going to go find a mixer. I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm going to do the research. And so it's the same with medicine. It's the same with the ingredients. It's the same with the stuff that we put into our bodies. It all boils down to choice. So if you need help in that area to understand, okay, how do I really read a label? Like, you need that person to help you. Reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right? Reach out to us at recoverycoach@setfreelife.net. That's my email, and that's also the email that I will pass on to my wife and just say, hey, I need some help. I need a coach. I need someone that's going to be able to help me, or our natural health consultant, Holly.
I'd be happy to help, whatever I can do.
Right. So that's what we're here to do. All right. So sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, no. You
take
did
over the
good.
show,
so we were talking about fake sugars and what to avoid. One thing that when I first started down this journey that I read about was high fructose corn syrup. And if you want to do a search on that, that's something you should never, ever, ever, never put in your body. It causes a bunch of chemical reactions. And in a few minutes, we'll talk about the addictive cycle of sugar. Refined white table sugar is not good. It's not good for you. We already talked about saccharin. There's something else on labels called Maltodextrin.
So let me ask you something. So you're saying table sugar.
The white table sugar 5-pound bag you buy in the grocery store.
Okay, so do we know why it's not good?
It's just
is it the process?
It spikes your blood sugar. It's not good for your body. And in just a minute, we'll talk about the addictive cycle of sugar.
Okay. Because
I did some research on that as well.
Awesome. Because I think people want to know, like, okay, so some people tell me pure cane sugar is what I'm supposed to use.
It's better, yeah.
People say the raw brown sugar. People say this, but I think the people want to understand why.
Why?
Is there a certain way that they refine it? Is there a certain way that they process it? Is there a bleach to it? Like enriched white rice isn't the same as brown rice.
Right.
Which for me, it took me years to love brown rice.
Yeah.
But now I love brown rice. Right? Because the white rice, it's not good for you. It's bleached.
Right.
It says it on the
label.
On the label, it's bleached. And so I never got that concept. I'm like, yeah, but that's just how they process food, just like bleached white bread.
Right.
I'm like, after a while, now that I eat wheat bread and brown rice and fruits and vegetables and, still eat my chicken and my steak every now and then, but I'm thinking about it now like, dude, it was bleached.
You were putting bleach in your body. Would you go to the laundry? We keep our bleach outside by the laundry washing machine. Would you go there and take a big old swig? No. Nobody would do that. It would kill you.
Absolutely.
But yet our food's processed with it all the time.
Right. Awesome. Okay.
Sure. So I did a search for your brain on sugar. If you remember back in the old days, they used to have those commercials where the egg, they would crack an egg into a frying pan and this is your brain.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? I remember.
I remember while I did
think I was on drugs.
Well, Well, I did a simple search and just a brain on sugar, and I found lots of information. Your sugar is as addictive as cocaine.
Wow.
Period. And there's all these brain, they do those sliced brain scans, and they showed the picture of an obese person and a picture of a brain on drugs, and they look almost exactly the same.
Wow.
The brain scan of somebody who is addicted to sugar, and sugar addiction is a real thing.
Wow.
If you thought maybe it was just something weird, no, you really can be addicted to sugar, and you have to detox your body from sugar if you want to step away from it.
Right. Absolutely.
Sugar intake eventually stops the production of dopamine, and dopamine is a chemical in your brain that makes you feel happy. So I pulled up this website, and it gives us the perpetual cycle of sugar addiction. And for those of the listeners that are like us that like to Google stuff, it's healthybody.com is where I found this information. So it gives a picture, and it shows number one, you eat sugar. You like it. You crave it. It has addictive properties. Number two, your blood sugar levels spike. Dopamine is released in the brain, which equals addiction. Mass insulin is secreted to drop your blood sugar levels. So that means number three in the cycle is that your blood sugar levels fall rapidly. And high insulin causes immediate fat storage, and your body craves the lost sugar high, quote unquote. Number four, hunger and cravings. Low blood sugar causes increased appetite and cravings, and then the cycle repeats itself. So you eat it, your blood sugar spikes, then your blood sugar falls rapidly, and then you get hunger and cravings, and it keeps going around and around and around. And this was a study from Princeton University. And the neurochemical effects of sugar have shown that sugar acts as a gateway drug for other drugs in many individuals. One study in the research group fed chow to the rats as 25% sugar solution, and that sugar, which is the sugar concentration of many soft drinks. So pop that top or open that bottle, it's 25% sugar, if not more. After a month in this study, the rats became dependent on the sugar solution, ate less food, and increased their intake of the sugary drink to 200%.
Wow.
Similar but stronger effects have been reported for rats given aspartame, which is another common chemical sweetener that's out there in food. The chemical reaction of sugar and aspartame stimulates the brain by activating beta endorphin receptor sites, the same chemicals activated in the brain by the ingestion of heroin or morphine. So sugar is just bad. And the food companies put it in almost everything. There's sugar in spaghetti sauce. There's sugar in milk. Some milks have sugar added to them.
Wow.
There could be sugar in crackers, pretzels, cereal. Don't even get me started on cereal. We talked about cereal last time I was on.
Wow.
Just, my little son running down the aisle trying to find when sugar's not the top 3 ingredient.
Right. We were talking about dopamine. There's a book that I'm reading right now about creating new habits in your life. And so the dopamine is, we all have that dopamine in our brain. And so what the dopamine does is it's relating sugar to an addiction is the same thing, because we're literally searching not for the high, but we're searching for the experience of the high. And so, like me, for instance, for years I was addicted to ice cream.
Yeah.
Like ice cream was my go-to for anything that was either joyous or if I just wanted to just dive into a depression or emotional type eating, right?
Yeah.
So I learned that the emotional attachment to my ice cream was, and I just wrote about this the other day, just putting a plug out there, go to setfreelife.net and subscribe to Coach's Corner blogcast. And I just did one on that about how things are related to our past. And so for me, it was more of when we were younger, even though there was an abusive home, every Sunday we either had watermelon or we'd have cantaloupe with vanilla ice cream. But it was always ice cream on Sundays after church or after football games or whatever. It was always ice cream. And so ice cream, I was attached to those moments.
To the memories.
I was attached to the memories. And so the same with the kids with their candy. Now it becomes this habit, but it all goes back to that first time that they ate the sugar.
Right.
So
it's always a reward.
Right. It's a reward that we're searching for. So not to tie people to dogs, but our Gracie, the very first time that she ate steak, like we would give her stuff, we'd be eating and she'd be kind of sitting there and we would just, give her little nibbles of like our leftovers or our steak fat or, chicken, whatever, And so, and don't act like y'all ain't got dogs that are next to your kitchen table. Okay. Everyone has dogs. So anyhow, it's not like our dogs sit at the table and they have a fork and a spoon, but so she's sitting there and she was a pup. I'm talking a baby. And so we had given her like, rice or little bits of this and that. But the first time she ever ate steak, her eyes literally blew up and was like, oh my God, like I could just see it in her like, oh my God, give me more, give me more. And so every time we eat steak, she smells that. It takes her back to the first time. Like I know what that is.
Yeah.
And so it's the same with this sugar, these kids and even adults like myself. I'm 47 going on 48 this year. 48?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anyhow, that's pretty young still, guys. All right. But
if you say so.
I had to, I'll always be younger than you.
I know, I'm
so
older.
That's a good thing. But I had to realize, and I stopped myself. I think it was last year, right? I was like, why do I love ice cream? I used to eat a pint per day. Yeah. Literally. I would eat at least minimum 4 to 5 pints per week. And my wife would always be like, that's a lot of sugar. It's a lot of this. I'm like, man, I work. I sweat it off. I ain't worried about it. I ain't tripping. I'm good. I'm still alive. Look, I'm healthy. No, I was fat. All right. So the crazy part is that when I finally stopped one day and I was like, why do I want ice cream? I literally, my eyes welled up because it took me back to those Sundays. Even though there was abuse in the house, even though there was anger and bitterness and rejection and all of those things, now we're talking about the spiritual side that's attached to the foods. I was like, now I get it. Now I understand. The same with, when her and I first got married, my breakfasts had to be huge because that's how mom cooked them.
Right.
And so I was trying to replicate and redo what my mom did. The papas, the beans, the bacon, the sausage, and the pancakes all in one
eggs,
meal. And tortillas.
So
it was like, that's what you do. That's how you eat your breakfast.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when we got married, you guys, I want some toast. I'm like, toast?
Yeah,
that ain't
I'm
breakfast.
not a breakfast person. Yeah.
Like for me, it's like I am adamant about my first meal. So now I'm a lot more healthy. I'll make my potatoes, but I'll put zucchini and mushrooms in them, stir fry it up with some onions and all that kind of stuff. I don't eat eggs every single day. But every now and then I'm like, you know what? We're going to Old West.
Right.
Or we're going to IHOP, or we're going somewhere where they serve a hearty breakfast.
Right. And I love that for like lunch. I'm just kind of a natural intermittent faster.
Right.
My body is comfortable and happy. I don't like to eat before like 11. 10:30, 11 is probably the earliest I'll eat most of the time. Sometimes, other things happen. We have to go out to breakfast or whatever. But lunch to me is normally the first meal of the day. And that's just how my body functions. And everybody is hand-packed.
Right.
So sugar might not be have such an effect on me as it has on you.
Right.
And so everybody is hand-packed, but sugar's bad across the board.
Right.
Across the board. And so you need to understand and just to be aware and want to raise awareness. And moms who love their children, every mom loves their kid, but giving them a package of gummies or a popsicle or ice cream as a treat or reward is not the best thing.
Right.
Right. Maybe, we've all been, as we've gotten older, when I was a kid, we would go to the doctor's office and you get a dum-dum sucker.
Right.
You know, it was just they didn't know. They didn't know any better. Even the doctors didn't know any better.
Right.
But nowadays, you have the capability to open up your phone, your laptop, and look and find out about everything. What's really going on. And not that everything on the internet is true. Believe me.
Right.
You have to study because you'll find good and bad about everything. Just using the egg example. Back in the 70s, eggs were bad. They're high in cholesterol. They're horrible for you. Now, in the 90s, I think, or 2000s, okay, they are good, but it's in moderation.
Right. We also have to be careful because we're in that vibe right now of everyone being healthy and all that stuff. You do have doctors out there that are still pushing pharmaceuticals saying that they're healthy, saying that they're good for you. And so you still have to use wisdom. You still have to be wise.
Right.
But it all goes back down to, what did God create in the beginning? Seed-bearing plants.
Seed-bearing plants.
Vegetables.
Yes.
Fruits. That was the first offering that Abel brought, was the fruits of his labor. Right.
And that should be the basis of our diet. As I've gotten older and studying more, again, everybody's individual. I think now we did a Daniel fast for the first part of the year. And for us, it was super easy. It was not hard at all. Yes, we missed a little bit of chicken. But in general, this year, it was super easy. Last year, it really was not as easy. In times before that, we've done an all-vegetarian diet. It was not as easy.
Right.
So, you know, our bodies change as we grow older. And things that fuel us. Food is supposed to be fuel to make us work well.
Right.
For a long time, for years and years and years, I did a high-protein diet. And even they called it whatever, Atkins, keto, whatever you want to call it, whatever. And the more I read, the more I learned, your brain needs carbohydrates, which we'll talk about on another show, to function well. And so when you're restricting the carbohydrate intake, your brain gets tired, you get foggy, you don't think as well.
Right.
So in my job, I need to be able to think. I need my brain to work, period. I need it to work.
Right.
So I know for me, I need to have some carbohydrate intake. It doesn't need to be all carbs.
Right.
And so we'll talk about macronutrients. Nutrients.
Well, speaking of macros, I was, I've lost weight doing macros and all that stuff in the past. But what I learned from this Daniel fast, and this just another side note, that's just how we rock this show, is that I learned through the Daniel fast that I don't need all that meat.
Protein.
That I need the protein.
Yeah.
But I didn't need all the meat.
Right.
All the chicken, the 3 to 4 chicken breasts per day, and like just, reaching these macros. And if that's what rocks with you, then you know what? By all means, do it. But for me personally, I was like, I don't need all that meat.
Yeah.
Because when you give something up, it's like they say, when you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. And so even now that we're off of the Daniel fast, I still rock my potatoes with zucchini and mushrooms. I still rock my beans. I'm still doing the black bean dip. I'm still doing the guacamole. All the stuff that is a natural thing.
Vegetable.
Based. The good fats, the good stuff. And when you eat enough of that stuff, there are carbs in that as well.
Yes, they're natural.
Not as much as bread, not as much as, bagels and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go cold turkey on meat because I do love my chicken wings. I do love my stuff, my steaks and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a necessity every day, because when you give something up and it's not there anymore, you learn to survive, really. Right.
You adapt to what you're feeding your body.
Absolutely.
So
in the recap, let's just recap the sugar intake once again.
Sure.
And it just flow with it and just let us know, what the good and the bad are about sugar.
Sure. So natural is better. Natural. Right. You want natural honey, raw maple syrup. Local honey is the best if you can get it. Flipping back to my list, coconut sugar. If you are watching your carbohydrate intake, you can have stevia, which has no calories and no carbs, and that's plant-based. Raw cane sugar, molasses, Turbano sugar is also another one that's out there. And then things to avoid are the chemical-based, man-made things. So just think, if I think about it that way, is it natural? Does it come from the earth? Or is it man-made in a chemical plant somewhere in wherever?
Right.
So those things to avoid, number one on the list is high fructose corn syrup. Please, if I give you homework, that's your homework. Research high fructose corn syrup. See what it is and what it does to your body.
Gotcha.
Some other things to avoid: aspartame, Saccharine, Splenda, Maltodextrin, which is not necessarily a sugar, but it acts like a sugar in your body and raises your blood sugar levels.
Okay. Awesome. Now, can you let us know what those websites are? Once again, all those different websites
Sure,
that you were naming.
I think I missed out 3 or 4. Number one, powerinthegroup.com, and it gives you a list of sneaky names for sugar. There's a whole list. I want to say 30 or 50. So again, powerinthegroup.com, and it gives you a list of the sneaky names for sugar that people put in the chemical companies and food processors put in the food. Another one is healthybody.com, about sugar addiction and what happens in that research from Princeton. And again, FDA.gov, which is the government's food website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, baby, for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
And filling in for Chrissy. And you know what? I really think that we need to get you on the show, not just your little 5-minute nuggets.
Snippets.
Okay, so we'll talk about that down the line. But
they're going to work on me.
All right, guys, so we're going to wrap up the show. And so, like she was talking about the different sugars and the different websites and all those crazy things that we don't even realize that we're doing, I encourage you guys, trust me, for somebody like myself that was all about junk food and Taco Bell and Jack in the Box and eating out and fast food and appetizer night and all that junk. Believe me, guys, it took years for me to get there, but now I'm at a place where I feel happy, I feel joyful, and it's not only just the spiritual side, it's also the physical side of what I'm taking into my body.
Right.
Okay. So once again, guys, this is Pastor Paul, your life recovery coach. Remember, you can reach us at bit.ly/soulfit comments, or you can email us at soulfitpodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach me personally at recoverycoach@setfreelife.net, and visit our website, guys, setfreelife.net, and we'll see you on the next Soul Fit podcast. God bless.